Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Friday afternoon, July 17th. We're looking at the last 3 days of the SPY's market profile here on Window Trader. And I guess you can call it a 3-day balance for the last 3 days, but as you can, when we get to the daily and weekly, to me, it's just a much bigger balance. Bottom line is on what's transpired is the bulls' failure above last month's high, but the bears' incredible failure to push down lower since they can't take out the balance high, and miserably into that price probe from the other day. When you see the charts, the weekly and daily look very nice. So we gapped open again after I think at least the third price probe. It gapped to the way the price probe closed. Well, guess what? We have another price probe today. So you might as well go home long, because I guess if it's going to follow suit, we should gap higher on Monday. None of those gaps have held, though. They've all been filled. So there's been no follow-through. Yes, the price probes have been accepted, but there's been no follow-through. We end up, I guess you could call this a P-shape, although obviously you want the A to be the stem. Not only isn't A, but neither is B. C is. But every time he tried to make a new high, it came back in. It was a very frustrating day for today. I made very small, gave back a lot, went looking for trades, which was horrible. And then the trade I should have taken an M period a couple of times, I just sat there and watched when it would have made me really, really good risk return on that. So very frustrated, but it was a very good week overall for both me and I think the majority of my room, which is very nice to see. As far as my trades, so again, we gapped higher. I said I would take the gap if it wasn't that big a gap. I did. Took it versus, obviously, the gap and the price probe. It held. It got. Remember that POC became naked again? I took it around there, went up. It was a nice trade. Nothing of any magnitude at all. Then they proved that they couldn't get the open. In fact, we couldn't get the open until J period. And then we went back and forth through it, all 4 time frames at the end of the day. B period. Took a short. As soon as we took out A, added on to it when it came back up, couldn't get back above yesterday's high. That worked out decent, right? The price probe failed. It got below it. That was a decent trade. I took C, shorts against single prints. Didn't last very long. Made small on those. You could sense something was going to change there. Again, for whatever reason, this price action has been so... The tempo has been horrific. We've had wide POCs. I don't know. Maybe it's lulling me to sleep a little bit, but I'm not doing things that I should and normally do. Now, even though we took out B's low, I always say the single prints usually fill if you don't take out that prior time frame's low and then get it. Now, we did take it out, but it got right back into it. When we started coming back, the odds of filling those single prints were pretty good. Again, I could have pulled the trigger for decent size to see that happen. I didn't do it. Then in H period, I took a short versus the opening. Again, that actually worked out as it came back down. That was a decent trade. I took one in K versus the high today. That one I ended up losing small on. But the trade that I was looking for, when M period popped the top early and then got up here, and it got here early in the time frame, and we got just about to M's high. Now, yes, we easily could have gone and took out the 15th high, but the tempo was horrible. The volume was not that good. I mean, the volume on the day, again, 56 million. That's horrendous, again. So I thought the odds of it, since it was so early in the time frame with the lack of tempo absolutely ripping, wasn't that good. I had numerous opportunities to buy the 323 put at prices that would have made me anywhere between 20 and 40 cents, and then even again later in the time frame. And as I'm looking now, it's ripping lower from where we closed an M and ripped up. I could have taken it again before doing this video. I think if I'm not mistaken, they went to under $1, and now they're trading at $1.30. So they have incredibly been very generous on each pop up, and I didn't take any of them. Sometimes that happens. So, I would have liked to finish the week really strong. It's still a good week, but so be it, right? It's the money you keep, not the money you make. Okay. We battled the opening, not only the opening, but last year's settlement also. 321.86. The last 4 time frames, and so far right now in N. And by the way, look at the way we're trading at the low of N period. N period went up to 322.10, and now we're trading at 321.50 in the last 14 minutes. And going lower. So we battled last year's settlement tremendously. They have us closing below it at 321.72. So that's become a sticking point. And look, by the way, we're still coming in. I don't know if anything came out after the close or that was just week longs getting out. All right, let's go to our destinations for Monday. So 322.57, today's high. Then we have 323.04, which is now a weekly high. So now not only do we have a monthly high that we need to get accepted above, we have to get accepted above Wednesday's high, which is now a weekly high of 323.04. Then we have 323.41, monthly high. Above that, we have 324.61 daily high. Now, for the downside, we have, and I wrote the wrong thing. I wrote afternoon pullback low. We have our price probe. That is L's high. Yes, we closed below it. We closed below it pretty good, but just like today, until Monday, we don't know if it's accepted or rejected. So L's high is still our first downside destination of 322.30. Then we have 9 wide at 321.27. That's F's low. Then the afternoon pullback low, H's low of 320.91, 319.74, which is today's low. Yesterday's low, 319.09, which is also a poor low. And then that price probe that's held like a champ, 317.67. And one other note, I was looking for an afternoon pullback low to go long today. And H opened inside. All of a sudden, H just got very jittery and ripped down. And it came out from what the only thing we saw was some stupid COVID numbers from, not stupid, they're not stupid, the COVID numbers. But the news about COVID, about the in New Jersey being high. And I thought that was just going to be a blip, but the algos were a little agitated. Never took that call. So again, I'm going to say I was basically off my game today because that should have been a long play either here or certainly an I's low, right? Look, I didn't even take out G's low. My risk reward is great on that trade. I'm out below H's low. So the seeing the market was well, the execution and not doing it was poor. So that was a good long, and that was certainly a good short up there. Didn't do it. Okay, let's go to our charts. Again, I tell you, I'm as honest as possible on here. I'm only fooling myself and my viewers and the people in my room if I lie to anybody, right? And I want to thank people who did like my videos today. I appreciate it. If you like it, please keep doing it. Throw some comments out there. I appreciate it very much. Okay, so one time framing up 2 months. Obviously, the hurdle right now is last month's high. Now, there's still 2 weeks to go in this month. However, it's an inside month right now, right? I mean, it's still 2 weeks to go. Anything can happen. But right now, it's an inside month. So we'll see if that happens or if the Bulls get their game on. Now, here's what's impressive a little bit. A little bit. We are in an 8-week balance. That's a huge balance. We're one time framing up 2 weeks, though. Right? That's impressive. We're one time framing up 2 weeks. More impressive is the way this week closed. After pushing all the way down to 312, we bounce and close about $10 above this week's low. So that is absolutely impressive. However, I'll say this till the cows come home. Until they prove we not only take out now this week's low, a high, and this high, which is the monthly high, and get acceptance, which is, my goodness, the key word here, which means closing above it. Closing above it, not stretching it and coming back into this balance, but closing above it and then start getting into this huge gap. Until that happens, I can't say full on that the bulls are winning anything. The bears certainly aren't winning anything either. It's balanced, no doubt. The bears have failed miserably. But with each failure they have, the bulls still can't get accepted above here. So for now, the bears are defending the most important part, and that's the goal line, right? It's first and goal for the bulls here. But the question is, how many times are they going to keep fumbling the ball at this balance high? If they don't do it, at some point, you're going to get an onslaught of sellers and finally just push this down. So I think it's imperative to get above it and accepted very, very soon. And then on the daily, again, nice close. It looked a lot better before M flushed out. We were right at the top. But still, you could either call this a 3-day balance like you saw on the profile. But since we're closing inside of here and inside of all these, again, you could just encompass all of this. You want to call it a 7-day balance, these 4-day, whatever. It's balance. And it's the same thing. We either take these out and get going, or, so now this is, Wednesday is the weekly high. So that's even doubly important. We have to get above this to even take out this, which is the monthly high. If we don't do that, we're going to test the bottom of the balance, which is, what was it? I'm sorry. The bottom of the 3-day balance is yesterday's low, right? 319.09, yes. That's not far away. So if we get rejected at this week's high on Monday, there's a good chance you're going to go visit the bottom of the 3-day balance. Anyway, I know it's a little longer than usual, but just hopefully giving a thorough recap of what I'm seeing in the marketplace. One other thing, if you want, the triple Qs early on after that flush out the other day had a chance for an outside week down. Didn't get it. But the one thing that we are in is finally some kind of balance here. Right? Now it's going to take a while, I guess, to figure it out because the top of it is 260 is the all-time high, and the bottom is this week's low at 250, 276. So we kind of closed in the middle of it. So the monthly and the triple Qs, still very healthy, one-time framing up. Weekly is balance, and the daily is also in balance. You can call it a 4-day balance to see how that reacts. I hope you had a good day trading. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org, and we'll speak prior to the opening on Monday.